Hello, everyone. Thank you. My name is Anirban Bardalaye. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Bloomreach. I want to start by taking a moment to explain the really cool video that you just saw. It all starts with Bloomreach Engagement, our marketing automation platform that many of you here use. Engagement is one of the top platforms in the market, and that's because it has been able to solve 3 key bottlenecks for marketing teams. It solves the integration bottleneck, bringing together disparate marketing technologies into one platform. It solves the data bottleneck, bringing product data and customer data together to drive real-time personalization. And it solves the channel orchestration bottleneck, allowing you to orchestrate journeys across all of these different channels: emails, ads, apps, web, and more. But there's still one bottleneck that we as an industry haven't quite solved yet: the resource bottleneck. And Raj talked about that earlier as well. Marketers just have too many actions to take, too many decisions to make, and you all know this, some of you in the audience. What if we could change that? What if AI agents could do that work for you? Take those actions, make those decisions, and really execute those campaigns on your behalf. Affinity, that you just saw, is finally here to solve this. Our vision for Affinity is a collection of AI agents sitting on top of our engagement platform. Marketers tell Affinity their goals, and Affinity turns them into actionable campaigns, figures out the audience, figures out the decisions, and figures out the channels to use. But Affinity doesn't just stop there. It continuously monitors and optimizes those campaigns to make sure that your goals are best achieved. And here's the best part. Because Affinity is built on top of our core engagement product and the core profiles that you already have, you're already ahead of the game. You're already building the foundation that the AI agents are going to get trained on and autonomously execute to deliver the goals that you're looking for. As Amanda mentioned, Affinity is currently in beta, and you're now part of the special group that know more about Affinity than anybody else. And if you're interested in joining the beta program, come talk to us. We need more of you to work with us. But to give you a hint of what Affinity is capable of, and to unpack how Affinity is already changing how marketing works, I'm very excited to welcome Dennis Bauer to the stage. Dennis is the brand manager at Sideshow, a customer of Bloomreach Engagement, and one of our first beta customers of Affinity. Please join me in welcoming Dennis to the stage. Welcome. Dennis, before we begin, can you give everybody a quick overview of Sideshow?
Sure thing. So Sideshow is like the ultimate job for a little boy who wants to play with toys. We are a manufacturer and distributor of pop culture brands like Star Wars, Marvel, DC. We make action figures, we make statues. Like I said, it's really the dream job for a boy who couldn't get enough of that when he was growing up.
I can totally tell that. And I know that you're wearing something to represent your brand as well.
Yeah, when you're the brand manager for a brand like that, you come to an event like this with Darth Vader socks on. So, right?
I thought my socks were cool, but those are definitely much cooler and much nerdier than what I could wear.
There you go.
All right, let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit of how you got started, what got you interested in Bloomreach Engagement.
Yeah, sure thing. So before we were with Engagement, we were with another vendor, and we had got to the point where we were delivering so much event data into that platform that it was just a huge bottleneck for us. It was taking 20 to 30 minutes just to build a segment. So we knew it was time to go. We needed to find another partner that we could really work with at scale. And we were lucky enough to see a demo of Bloomreach, and the demo that was displayed for us, that same segment that took us, 20 to 30 minutes to render, took like 10 seconds. So that was the ultimate sort of test. We were ready to sign then, but then also all the personalization aspects that we could use with those events that we were sending in, that's when we knew we needed to become a partner with you guys.
And I would imagine that personalization is really important for you. The DC and the Marvel fans, they don't really like to get along and mix them up, right?
Our customers are very passionate. So if you mess up that message and you send, a Marvel fan a DC, tagline, you get an unsubscribe right away. So we definitely need to keep on brand and on message at all times with each of our different categories.
Understood. And tell me a little bit about personalization. You talked about personalization, you talked about data, so that's a good segue to Affinity that we just saw. So when we first came and pitched you about Affinity, what were your thoughts?
I had a lot of thoughts. I was definitely a little apprehensive at first. I come from an art background, actually went to art school. And so that was, everything going on with AI and the art community and the way it's treating it, definitely kind of had that mindset that made me a little bit more hesitant. But when I was at art school, I also remember that was kind of when Photoshop was coming into play and becoming a bigger tool for artists to use. And I remember being terrified at the time to use that, but I did jump in, able to get employed, was able to get a job. So when Affinity was pitched, I realized that, I'm at the forefront of being able to try a new technology, and I wanted to be there.
That's amazing. And now you've been using Affinity for a while. How has your thoughts and your experience evolved since the first time you experienced Affinity?
It's evolved quite a bit. There's hundreds of brands that Sideshow represents. I think we're about 400 different pop culture brands now, with roughly 1,600 different characters. And among that, there's 100 different product categories. And so for us, keeping everything straight kind of becomes a little bit harder. And we have a small team, and the ability to use something like Affinity to come in and help us be able to do that, that was really one of the reasons we wanted to jump into the beta program too.
And you've done some pretty cool stuff with Affinity. Do you have any favorites?
I do. So doing, statues that are very fragile. We have a lot of breakage points that could happen during the shipping process. So we always want to send out a how-to video for each piece, how to take it out of the box so you don't, break it. So what we were doing in engagement is we were actually creating a scenario for each individual product, which you can imagine across that many SKUs, it adds up fast, and it's kind of a time suck on our time. But with Affinity, we were able to put that all into one scenario, which honestly, it was really the one scenario to rule them all. And so we were able to kind of keep everything a lot easier to manage. We ended up saving a little over 10 man-hours of work per week.
Wow.
So yeah, the possibility there was great for us.
Dennis, you talked quite a bit about data and the products and the catalogs. But of course, when we think about these campaigns, content is a big part of that. Tell us a little bit about how Affinity has helped on that side as well.
Yeah. So right now, how most people, I think, in this room will, when we create a PDP page, we are thinking Google first for search terms, keywords, keyword plugging, key phrases. Affinity actually gives us an opportunity to write more one-to-one to our actual customer. So like in our case, we can use some of those quotes and whatnot from different movies that maybe we can't get away with so much on a PDP page, but we can, in an email on a one-to-one, more personalized basis. So we've been able to do that a lot. And actually, for an example, a lot of our YouTube videos, our hosts will sign off with the terms, "Let your geek side show" as a catchphrase. And so we were able to put that into Affinity And one of our early campaigns, when I saw that generated, I was like, okay, we're good. We're ready to launch.
So now that you've been using Affinity for, what, like a couple of months now, what are some of the results you're seeing?
Definitely have saved quite a bit of time. I actually did a test where I timed myself putting together a campaign versus watching Affinity do it. And I think Affinity took 2 minutes in total, and I took like 35 minutes. Mm-hmm. So just creating the scenario alone, it saved a lot of time that way. But also, just besides the man hours, we launched an add to cart campaign, which was quite exciting. It was actually, I think, the first campaign launched with a completely generated creative, which was awesome. And once we saw sales coming in, I mean, that's always like hey, you've done your job, sales are coming in, you're good to go now. I feel a lot better, more confident about doing more and more campaigns moving forward.
So Greg said at the beginning, just do it. But I'm sure there are people in the audience who's thinking, this is cool, but man, this is terrifying. What advice would you have for folks in the audience to dabble into AI agents like Affinity?
Well, for the very first thing, right, it's going to be okay. Your job is going to still be there. It's just changing, and you need to maybe change your mindset. But I know, like in my case, I'm the brand manager at Sideshow, so I need to know, my brand very intimately, which I think everybody in this room can kind of relate to, having to relate to their brand. And I see myself more as teaching a new employee, so to speak, with Affinity, and letting it really shine and be able to work for me and as a partner. So my own fear of like losing control and creativity has actually subsided significantly, and having the time back that Affinity has provided has let me be more creative, if you believe it. Yeah, able to come up with different campaigns, different aspects of personalization along the ways. One quick idea. When we're teaching Affinity, I think I kind of mentioned it a little bit previously, but just being able to teach it with your product catalog has been just so eye-opening, and another chance to be creative that maybe in the past I wasn't. So, the other aspect too, obviously, that you think about with wanting to be at the forefront of a technology, and you have the kind of a perfect example, I think, that we can all look back on not that long ago, was Blockbuster Video.
I remember that.
Yeah, and how Netflix came along, and I don't see too many Blockbuster stores anymore where I live. So
for sure.
I definitely want to be at the forefront, and just have the trust in Affinity has grown leaps and bounds. So
I love that you say that Affinity is giving you back the time to be a lot more creative. Isn't that really the value and the benefit of the AI agents, that you're responsible for strategy, you know what's needed for the business, you understand the creative aspects of it, as Greg talked about, connecting on the emotional side, and Affinity now gives you the time and the resources and the bandwidth to be able to do that. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I hear that you have a track in the afternoon as well?
Yeah, we're going to be doing Rethinking Strategy at 4 p.m. In Ballroom 1. If you're a fan of Baby Yoda, if you're a fan of Spider-Man, I really suggest that you come by that panel. I'll also be hanging around the Expert Hub if anybody wants to talk about anybody of the other use cases that we've done at Sideshow. Be happy to chat and just sort of share my thoughts on the beta program and how it's been going.
Well, you heard from the man. If you want to hear about Baby Yoda or talk Agentic AI, go to Dennis's session. Dennis, thank you so much for being a trusted partner.
Thank you.